Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. The month beginning with a new moon in Leo always feels like a great opportunity to open the heart and have joy. This month it's making a really close aspect, a trine aspect to Saturn, with Saturn in Sagittarius, as we know, drawing us to consider our beliefs, to explore possibilities of how might things be seen, to correct up attitudes. So this month is definitely bringing our attitudes, beliefs and behaviours all into congruency with our heart. Now when we are congruent like that, we can stand tall, face the world with confidence that we are standing in our own space. Even if we find ourselves not knowing what we believe really, we can stand firm in that. To be one who experiments, who tests what is offered, who checks things out to see what feels right. It's going from the truth of the heart that gives it that strength. It warms the Saturn, and Saturn anchors the heart, ruling the base chakra, helping us to be steady and firm in our decisions, giving us a natural authority because we know what we've experienced. If you find that you are tense or worried or even afraid, check again what your beliefs are around the person or situation that seems to be causing this, which is in fact triggering it. And make sure that your philosophy is not based on fear, so that your heart has a constant need to protect itself and hold itself smaller than it should be. A positive philosophy is essential to a peaceful heart. The heart relaxes, and being the centre of our personality, the most powerful of the centres of force, the chakras, it radiates our spiritual force into the world, which comes as love, and allows everyone else to have that space, to be themselves, to stand tall in their space. Relationship this month is very much about freedom and taking one's own space, with the Venus trining Uranus. And in Leo, it emphasises the love that we can feel for everyone. Particularly, we must start with ourselves. The loving heart is a heart that loves to be alive, that loves to be here, that loves the self, the personality, loves the body. And that love simply radiates out naturally. However, this need for space is very important. We have to take our space, know the size of it, as it were, which means not being pressured by emotional force that we don't choose to accept. It's not being manipulated. And of course, not manipulating others or expecting others to fulfill our requirements. Even as the moon reached the sun, Mars went out of Scorpio into Sagittarius at last, to stay there and continue moving forwards for the next year and a half. So the energy this month is very likely to feel lighter than it has done for some time. Not that there are not difficulties, but that we have a more adventurous spirit in handling them. The full moon shows quite a different picture, growing out of the new moon, of course, but resolving many of the almost aspects that there were into exact shapes. So that Mercury, from the early part of Virgo, where possibly we've been worrying away about all sorts of things, at the full moon it reaches towards Jupiter, opening up to possibilities, ready to give, ready to find new solutions to problems, ready to put the work in. At the point of a yod shape, these two brown lines going out to the Moon and to Uranus, who are sextiling each other. Moon in Aquarius, opposite the Leo Sun, so very concerned with social freedom, connecting as it does to Uranus, who rules Aquarius, and the Sun is trining Uranus, so that freedom very close to our hearts. It looks like a time for impromptu gatherings, celebrations, good times, fun. And the purpose that will make them work well for everyone will be some form of giving, some charitable purpose, the collecting of finances for some project that will help. With the Venus trining Pluto at that time from 15 degrees Virgo, the second half of this month may well bring important relationships to the fore, and perhaps the ability to really affect others in a truly transformational way, and to be changed ourselves. Opposite to the point of this yod, we have Chiron, giving us again this background feeling that there is a huge need to focus on the sufferings of the world, a huge need for healing, and that possibly with this shape, the shifting of our perspective to take on board more care, more giving from those who can. On the 12th of August, Saturn goes direct, which means that it's again approaching the square to Neptune. So we are still likely to not know quite what it is we're supposed to be doing. And on the 24th of August, Mars catches up and goes over Saturn, which could be a time of a frustrated energy, but it could also be a time of manifesting. Sometimes there is a real need to take responsibility for what we're doing and really focus the energy in achieving it. And when Mars and Saturn get together, although it can feel hard work, it can be immensely practical. In Sagittarius, it's likely to be more about exploration and discovery. It is at the point of a T-square with the nodes of the Moon and Neptune, so it may be exploring things that we don't know what they're going to be useful for, so off on a tangent. But nonetheless important to follow the suggestion, to follow the opportunities as offered, because we never know what we'll need the things for later. One very good way of using that Mars in Sagittarius is exercise, to make sure that the body is in good shape, and maybe exercise in company. And some kind of regime might be helpful to use the energy of Saturn with the Mars. And it may be a temporary time where you get yourself in good shape for later, or where you might decide to have a physically testing holiday. These are all mutable signs, so there's nothing fixed, and no need to stay in one sign, but a movement between them all. Exciting times. On the 30th of August, so quite close to the end of this month, Mercury goes retrograde, and will be retrograde until the 22nd of September. And although this is well into the next new moon cycle, it interests me that Mercury goes all the way back to 15 degrees Virgo and will trine the Pluto precisely, just as Pluto also is about to go forwards again, as though there's something about our understanding that towards the end of the month we go a bit more internal, working things out on the inside, back and back through Virgo, checking things over until we realize what it is that needs doing. So that could easily be not until well into September that we actually understand what it is that we need to do next. So with all of this uncertainty, there is no harm in it. There is no fault in not knowing. Even confusion is a fertile soil. It's when we think we know specifically that life has difficulty offering us more opportunities and giving us a hand. So this month, Leo, be yourself, take your space, enjoy. Be prepared to love something about yourself, even if it be your smile, your aura, the way you do some particular thing that you enjoy the results. Love something of yourself, and that love will spread from you out into your world and bring healing quite naturally to those around you. Open your heart. Let your worries slip gently from your shoulders and your head float free above your neck. From over your head down through your heart to the base of your spine is a rod of golden light, linking you to spirit and your deep earth home. Know yourself to be this paradox, within and out of time, spatial and yet spacious without bounds. The truth is unknowable except to the open heart.